What do you say? One step away is on the clock. Here we go.
Hey, what is up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of One Step Away. This is the place where you get motivation, tips, tactics, and strategies on how to achieve online success. I'm your host, Cam Jennings, and you could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you chose to spend a few of your minutes right here, right now, with me, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. Thanks so much, everybody, and welcome to the show. By the way, guys, before I get into today's show, I want to remind everybody, One Step Away has a new home. You can find it over at patreon.com/One Step Away. Yes, episodes of One Step Away are distributed all over the place. That's true. I still have a Buzzsprout account, and Buzzsprout still does distribution for me. However, those episodes are deleted after 90 days, right? They're deleted after 90 days. Those episodes still exist over on patreon.com. You don't have to pay money to listen to them. You can listen to them for free right there on patreon.com/One Step Away podcast. That's where you can find them. Now, in addition to that, there are exclusive episodes that I do every week right there on Patreon. So check it out. It's pretty cool. That's the true home of One Step Away. Anyways, what do I want to talk about today? Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm recording video today. Why? I don't know. Got less lazy today and decided to break out a camera and do some video for a change. So I'll probably post this in my Facebook group or on YouTube or something for a change. You guys, right now, currently, I'm doing an episode of One Step Away. I'm doing 2 episodes a week for One Step Away. One of them is public. One of them exclusive Patreon. You want to know how much it costs to be an exclusive Patreon for One Step Away? Well, if you save your pennies, the rightful $3 a month. I think that's what we're charging right now for that. So it's not very much, but it's pretty cool. I plan to put a lot more exclusive stuff in there as well as the year goes on. But anyways, let's get into today's show. What did I want to talk about today? Well, look, I wanted to talk about this idea of staying the student, right? Because, what I found is that when I first got into, digital publishing, right? Because that's what I run. I run a digital publishing company, and primarily I work through email. But when I first got into digital publishing and product launching and stuff like that, I didn't know a lot about it, and I was consuming information about quite a bit. I started out publishing a new product every 3 or 4 months, and I realized that, if I wanted to do this regularly, I needed to publish a little bit more frequently than that. I needed to find a way to speed up my process. So I was doing a lot of studying, and I was doing a lot of researching, and I was trying to figure out other people's processes and how they went about things when it came to product launching and stuff like that. And I was very much the student, right? And then, there's other things that go along with product launching, right? How do I make a sales page that converts really well, consistently? And then, how do I, get affiliates to promote my product? How do I do it? Or what makes a good offer or whatever? There's a lot of little questions you could ask, and there's a lot of little disciplines that you could study to get really good at the art of digital product publishing. But eventually, I kind of moved from the realm of student in that space into the realm of kind of experienced person. I don't want to say like expert or whatever, because I still feel like very much a student, but yeah, I'm fairly experienced at that subject of digital product publishing, and I do it quite a bit, and I've sped up my process quite a bit, and I got answers for almost all the questions when it comes to digital product publishing, and that's what you'll find, like, as you study a subject, you'll eventually get to a place where you have answers for most of the questions as it relates to that, subject. And you can test yourself in this by like basically, looking at a frequently asked questions or doing a Google search or doing some research and looking at all the frequently asked questions for a particular subject and just kind of seeing if you have answers to those questions, right? Maybe you've experienced those problems and you've solved those problems. Maybe you know the answers to those problems, even if you haven't personally experienced it, but because of all your research and because you've been around the block for a while, you know the answers to those problems because you know friends who have experienced those problems or whatever. So like you start to realize, hey, wow, I can answer all the questions on these FAQs. I know what's up, right? So like now you realize you're not really the student in that space anymore. You're kind of more of the experienced person. And that's totally cool and it's natural. You're going to move in that direction pretty quickly. So I'd say within a year, maybe 6 months, maybe even less, depending on who you are and how fast you learn and how much you're consuming information and how fast you're experiencing things. You maybe even learn even faster, right? But eventually you get to this place where you're not a student anymore. You're an experienced person in that space. You can call yourself an expert, whatever. You're just not really a student anymore. You can answer most of the questions on the FAQ. So what I'm saying is, what I have found is that it's really, really helpful. Well, let me just say this before I move on. When you hit that place of experience where you're fairly experienced and you're kind of recognized as someone who's fairly experienced, people look at you and they say, yeah, this person knows what they're talking about. They've been around the block for a while. They know what they're doing or whatever. Man, that's a good feeling, first of all, right? It's good to have some authority in a space. It's good to have some status. It's good for people to have respect for you and to recognize you as someone who knows what they're doing. That's pretty cool. But you know what? It really doesn't help you that much from a personal development standpoint. It helps you financially because if people respect you, then they're more willing to give you money, and they're more willing to listen to you too, which helps your overall mission of helping people, which is great. But it doesn't really help you from a personal development standpoint. It doesn't help your brain grow, right? It doesn't help you get better as a person or better as a business person. So what I say is this. I found that it's really good to stay the student in some areas. You should always be a student in some discipline, right? Like right now, I can tell you, I am very much the student and decentralized finance, right? Decentralized finance and yield farming and auto staking and all these kinds of, kind of crypto space things. I'm very much not an expert in that space, but I do recognize it as a land of great opportunity, and there's a lot going on there right now. It's like the Wild West. You can smell the money in that space, and I'm very much a student in that space, and I'm learning a lot. It's nice to be the student. It's nice to be able to say, I don't know, man. I have no clue. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. It's nice to wear that hat. And it's nice. What I'm saying is it doesn't take that long if you're really consuming a lot of information and you're trying a lot of things. It doesn't take that long before you have become sort of like an experienced person in a particular subject. It's really good if you're going to continue to operate in that subject in that space. It's really good to kind of adopt another space too, where you're kind of more of a student, and less of an expert. So that way, you can continue to expand your growth as a business person. You can continue to be someone who is learning, right? And I think it's important, I feel like, when it comes to growth as a person and as a business person, there's 3 places I want to be, right? 3 hats I want to wear, right? And one is yes, I wear the hat of the expert or the experienced person, I'll call it. I hate that that term expert, man, like experienced person. I wear the hat of the experienced person in some areas, like launching and publishing and stuff. And then audience building, I wear the hat of kind of the experienced person in that. And that's cool. But then also, I want to wear the hat of the peer, just talking to people who are on the same level as me, doing the same kind of stuff as I'm doing, because there's a lot of information I can learn from other people who are doing what I'm doing, because I surely don't know everything. So it's nice to hang out with people who are doing the same stuff I'm doing at the same level that I'm doing it, not just students, right? I don't want to just hang around with people who know less than me, who are trying to learn from me. I don't want to just hang around with those people. That's one group of people I want to hang around with, but I also want to hang around with the people who are my peers, my equals, who know some stuff that I know. Maybe I know a few things they don't know, but like there's a lot to be learned on both ends, right? I want to hang around with those people, and then I want to hang around with the people who are just like at another level than me. Right? They're on another level. So I want to be the student with those people, right? I'm the student, right? I want to be the student also, right? And to me, it's always been very important that I try to maintain a balance between those three places. Now, I don't always do it successfully. Sometimes I spend way too much time being the experienced person who's just hanging out with people who are trying to learn from me. Sometimes I don't always get along well with my peers, so I don't always hang out with my peers as much as I should. And sometimes I have trouble finding people to learn from, that I know, like, and trust and respect enough to learn from. So yeah, it's a struggle. But it doesn't mean that it's not important to me, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, okay? You gotta do it, right? If you want to be balanced in your growth, if you want to actually get to a better place, if you want to not stagnate where you're at in business, you have to be able to kind of balance those three hats. And like I said, man, you can quickly, within a year, probably learn a lot, almost everything you think there is to know about a particular space. Within reason, it seems like things are always changing. There's always something else to learn, but within reason, right? And look, sometimes I think it's good to expand and move out to a different space. Like right now, I've kind of expanded out to decentralized finance and cryptocurrency and stuff and NFTs and the whole thing with blockchains and stuff. I'm trying to really kind of learn that stuff, and I'm very much a student, and I'm cool with that, man. It's great to be the student. And the cool thing about being a student is you can teach people from the place of student. I already put out a couple of things, like content on crypto and stuff like that, mostly to my Insiders Club, but they're basically check out what I just learned kind of products, right? They're just basically here's what I'm doing right now. Here's what I'm learning. This is let me just do an over the shoulder, and we'll walk through this together as I do it. I did that with some NFT stuff. I put out a product called Don't NFTs Me a year ago or something like that. But I'm no expert at NFTs. I was just learning. And as I was learning, I was recording videos showing other people, as I was trying to do it, right? I learned some things, and then I'm okay, let me try to buy some crypto, and let me try to put some NFTs together. Let me do some NFTs. And I was all right, let me record some videos while I'm doing it so I can show other people my experience. Those kind of products are really cool and valuable to people. So you don't always have to be an expert to make a product about something. Sometimes you can just be trying to experience something for yourself for the first time. And people getting to walk through it with you, that's a valuable experience too. So anyways, yeah, man, that's about it, guys. I hope this has been helpful to you. I've just wanted to talk a little bit about being the student and wearing those different hats, because they're really important. You can't just I've seen so many people try to go into they say okay, they tried to make a bunch of money online. It didn't work out. They lost a bunch of money. They said, okay, I got to specialize. So they go into something like email marketing, or they go into something like copywriting, and then And now they just learn everything they can about copywriting within like 6 months. And now all of a sudden, like, they got all the answers. They know everything. They're like copywriting masters or something, even though that's laughable because people spend years trying to become copywriting masters. But the point is, they got all the answers, right? They got all the answers. They got their way of doing things. And now they're sitting on top of the mountain as like the expert, right? And there's no true growth there. They're just kicking back as the expert, collecting money, and nothing really. It's stagnating, really. It's kind of a secret. It's like not a secret, but it's like a It's kind of a hidden stagnation, if you will. It's a different kind of stagnation. It's not the stagnation of you're just not doing anything, so you're stagnating. This is the stagnation where like you're doing the same thing that you're an expert at, and you're stagnating in that way. And the world is actually moving on around you, but you just kind of got really good at this one thing, like let's say copywriting, for instance, and you just kind of keep on being the expert at copywriting. You're not really learning anything new, and you're just kind of like maintaining status quo. That's another form of stagnation, right? So I think it's important to try to hold on to the title of student. If you feel like you've learned everything you need to know in your space, then you want to kind of expand a little bit to another space at the same time, working in your space, if that makes sense. So anyways, I kind of go back and forth between those three hats. I hope this has been helpful to you. I don't know if it has. Feels a little rambly, but look, don't forget to be the student. That's basically what I'm saying. Hope you're doing amazing out there. And I'll see you on the next episode of One Step Away. Peace, guys.